Coming to you live from the Black Goat 39 studios, this is the Guru Talking Sports Podcast, episode 93. Now, here's your host, the Guru of Sports. Hello, sports fans, and welcome. Welcome to the Guru Talking Sports Podcast, episode 93. I am your host, the Guru of Sports, and today we have more or less a full crew in here. I'm going to be introducing these guys in a few seconds, but I just want to say, hey, welcome in and thank you for joining me. I know it's the day after Christmas, and, hey, I know everybody's tired. Everybody's got their Christmas presents and everything. I do want to say to the people on Facebook and the people that are watching videos and everything, the Guru Claus didn't show up this year. I'm not sure why he didn't show up, but I'm going to have a conversation with him. And I'm going to let him know that, you have to work. You have to work. One thing I request and one thing I do with everything that I do is that I always try to put out a good effort for everyone out there. I want you guys to know that I really appreciate you joining us. This is episode 93. And like I said, well, I'll tell you what, before I go into my opening arguments, and I know that opening arguments hasn't been around for a while, but I am going to have opening arguments. I'm going to introduce my co-host, and I'm going to introduce someone that hasn't been here in a long while. Now, first of all, I would like to say hello to my co-host, Cousin Aaron. Cousin Aaron, how are you? How are you, Cousin Aaron?
I'm doing fine. I'm doing great. I'm doing great this morning. How about yourself?
I am good. How was your holiday? How was your Christmas?
Oh man, my Christmas was fine. I went to sleep, woke up, went back to sleep, woke up and went back to sleep. That's what I did.
Oh, okay. So it sounded like you had a really good time.
I did.
Yeah, that's cool. That is cool. All right. Well, the second member of the Guru Talking Sports Podcast is a familiar person, and I can say that I am glad to see he's back, and he only back because I had to threaten him to tell him that he was getting ready to get fired, but he said that he doesn't want to get fired. He is not going to get fired. He is going to be a long stay. He's going to be here for the duration of whenever this podcast ends or whatever. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce to you the one, the only, Mr. Caden Guru. Caden Guru.
What's up?
How are you, Caden Guru?
I'm good.
I am glad that you're in here. I'm glad that you're here. You get to join us, me and Cousin Aaron in here, and we missed you. And first of all, I want to ask you, how was your Christmas?
It was good. It was very good.
Very good. That's good. Did your dad do anything nice for you?
Yeah.
What did he do for you?
We just had a spread,
Oh, that's cool. A spread. One of the things that I wanted to say about, Christmas and everything. We talked about this last week on the program. it's not about the gifts. You know, my gift and Ms. Guru's gift are coming late. So we basically are getting gifts after the holidays, which is not a big deal. Because what we did was we made sure that everybody that we, all our, kids and everything, that we made sure that they got their gifts first. So I really appreciate doing that. Okay, now I'm going to give you guys an overview of what's coming and what we're doing basically in the podcast for episode 93. All right, in a few minutes, I'm going to go to my opening arguments. I'm basically going to lay out for a few minutes, and I'm going to give you some info on what happened last night and basically what is going on with the LA Lakers. That's coming up in a few minutes. Poo-Poo of the Week is going to be jumped into the first segment, and I'm not sure who we got. Maybe Cade and Guru and Cousin Aaron can help me out with that. What happened on Christmas Day is going to be the end of the first period, and we're going to figure out what's going on with all the stuff that happened on Christmas Day, with the 2 football games that happened and the 5 basketball games that happened. And also, we got to talk about what happened with the Hawaii Bowl and Hawaii pulling out, the host team pulling out. Okay. In the second quarter, we're going to go to 50 years ago today. Or today, 50 years ago and one day. Because 50 years ago and one day, there was a special event that happened. We're going to talk about that. Bad man. He's a bad man is going to be in the second quarter. We're going to talk about that and get, who is the bad man of the week. We're going to talk more football in the end of the second quarter. We're basically going to talk about, if we don't get to the 2 games this week or 2 games from last night, we'll talk about it at the end of the second quarter. The third quarter is going to be Cousin Aaron Shouts. He's going to give a few shout outs to a few people out there. Basketball, again, is going to be in there. Hockey is going to be in there in the third quarter. We're going to talk about the lockout in baseball. The baseball lockout is still going on. I don't know why, but we're going to be talking about that. I'll Take That Bet is going to be in the fourth quarter. And what's pissing you off? Because I got a few people that actually asked me what's, pissing them off. And I want to go through with the crew. What's pissing you off? Is there anything? Now that Christmas is over, I'm sure that there's some things that people still want to talk about. We have Taps, and this Taps is very, very special to me, and I want to pay tribute to a great person that I lost pretty much last week, and this came as a shock as last week. Okay, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go to the open. I want you guys to know that I really appreciate you stepping in and coming in and listening to this podcast. Like I told you before, subscribe to the podcast, download it as much as you can, and make sure that you are listening to the Guru Talking Sports podcast. Because one of the things that we love, and we love the people that we deal with, we love the people that we talk to, and I want you guys to know that we appreciate you guys for just hanging out with us. Also, I do want to mention this. I seen something in one of the Tuesday night games. The Eagles played on Tuesday night. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. The Eagles did play Tuesday night. I got something that I want to talk about out of that game that I saw that was really, really interesting and something that I want you guys to know that I really appreciate. Okay. Now, I know it's been a while, but I want you guys to know that I'm going to start off the program with the opening arguments. Opening arguments are coming right about now. And where's my gavel? I don't have my gavel. I'm just going to start opening arguments. Okay. All right. 3 shouts, 3 hits on the mic or on the thing. I just want you guys to know that I really, really appreciate it. It's been a lot of stuff that's going on. I've been traveling, like I said, Christmas Eve, a long drive from New Hampshire, and that was pretty interesting as well. Okay, opening arguments is basically this. I want you guys to know that the LA Lakers are basically a dead team walking. And I basically don't know what is going on with the LA Lakers. I basically saw last night a team that is so dysfunctional, so dismantled, and so disruptive. I don't know what they're going to do to basically survive. I don't know. I just don't know. Actually, I don't know what they need to do to fix this thing. Dwight Howard, Russell Westbrook, Carmelo Anthony, they got all these guys on this team, and they basically, I just don't know what they can do to fix this thing. Or can it be fixed? That's the main thing. I just don't know. What is it that's going on? They had battled back from about a 27-point deficit and got it back to tied, and they basically could have won this game. But I just don't understand how they wasn't able to pull this one off. Now, granted, the Brooklyn Nets didn't have Kevin Durant, and they didn't have their part-time player, Kyrie Irving, that's usually going to play on the road part-time. But I just don't understand what's going on with the Lakers. You know, I cannot put my finger on it. You know, my Uncle Gary, I got to give him a lot of credit, and I'll be talking about him a little bit later in the program. He said to me when I was talking to him on Christmas Eve, he said, "Hey, what is it that, can you pray for my Lakers?" I'm like, Uncle Gary, I don't know if I can. This might be a lost cause. I just don't know what is going on with the Lakers right about now. And like I said, it's just really bad to the point where maybe this thing cannot be fixed. Now, can we trade Russell Westbrook? That's been a thought. But then again, LeBron cannot carry this team by himself. And he's always had at least one good superstar to run with him. Now he's got all these guys that are basically, well, let's say it, has-beens. Has-beens. And I just don't understand how they're going to be able to recover from this. I don't know. I don't see it. I don't see it at all. Okay. I'm going to pass it along to Cousin Aaron and Kate and Guru, their thoughts on what is wrong with the LA Lakers. Cousin Aaron, what is your thoughts on what is going wrong with the LA Lakers?
Basically, Guru, I see a lot of disorganization. I don't think it's the coach. People are pointing fingers at the coach. No. I think it's a disorganization. They're experimenting with ball players, experimenting. And it took a bad time to experiment with the right combination. You took the words out of my mouth a while ago when you said something about how can you fix it? Well, they're trying to fix it. They're trying to fix the team as they go along. It's a little too late for that. One more factor is they have injuries. You know, those little nicky injuries. AD, he comes up with an injury, it seems like every week. Has-been players, you're so right. LeBron is thinking, partially to blame is on LeBron because he handpicked these guys, thinking that Russell Westbrook, that's what I call Westbrook, he's shooting at an alarming rate, missing shots. He's not a three-point shooter. They need to pass the torch, pass the baton over to these younger guys coming up. So, like I said, it's too late in the game to try to say, hey, this will work, that will work. They need to just come along, find the right combination if they can, because this is a lost cause. You said it. It's a lost cause. It's going to take another year to get this team together, whoever they may be. That's my take on it, Guru.
Okay. Kaden Guru, your thoughts on what's going on with this Los Angeles Lakers team?
Just too much, like, I don't know. There's something in the locker room that we don't know is going on. The coach, like, everybody's blaming the coach. It's just like, it seems like a hot mess, like, around LA. LeBron's trying to, like, put up numbers, but he really doesn't have any help because, like, Anthony Davis is always injured, and Russell Westbrook isn't helping at all. I feel like it's a mix between, like, players and bad coaching, but mostly the coach, but they're just blaming the coach on everything.
Yeah, I agree. Blaming the coach is not going to solve the problem. And to tell you the truth, they didn't have their coach last night because he was in the protocol. And David Fizdale, which is a really, really great coach. I like David Fizdale a lot. And he took over for this team. He basically can coach. And one of the things is that I noticed that with David Fizdale, that he demands a lot from him. And he's been with LeBron for the longest time. You know, he was the coach down in Miami, one of the assistant coaches under Spoelstra in Miami. So he basically knows how to work with LeBron. Now, you're all the points that I see and that you guys made are perfectly right on time. Because Anthony Davis and, you know, what Charles Barkley calls them street clothes, he's basically in street clothes almost all the time. And I just don't understand why one of the best big men in the game, you know, he's top 3 big men in the game, can't stay healthy. You know, when he was in Kentucky, he was healthy. I mean, he's got the skills of a point guard, which is one of the best things that, you know, he can basically, you know, possess. I mean, he's really, really good when he's on the floor. You know, when you're on the floor, you're great. I mean, that's not a problem. The thing is that, like I said, Charles Barkley calls it street clothes. And he's basically in street clothes every time I watch a basketball game. This was the first game that I actually got a chance to sit down and watch completely all the way through. Now, my theory and philosophy has always been this. The NBA starts at Christmas. You know, I understand that a lot of people, you know, watch and see how the things go, how they develop in the beginning and, you know, all that before Christmas. But my thing is that Christmas starts the NBA. And I usually don't really watch a lot of NBA until after Christmas, right around Christmas time, because now this is basically when it starts. And I tell you one thing, this has to be something that's going on. It has to be fixed. It has to be kind of, you know, have to be dealt with now because guess what? It's midway through the season, almost midway through the season. And I'm sitting up here right now, and I wanted to also mention that Kyrie Irving, now I'm going to look at the Brooklyn side of it. Brooklyn really has not that much, but I look at it this way. Patty Mills played a great game last night. You cannot take anything away from Patty Mills. He had a career high. I think he had like 36 points or something like that. And he looked really, really good. They really don't need Kyrie Irving. I don't think they need Kyrie Irving at all because Patty Mills looked like a solid player for them. And I'm just amazed by how they basically looked last night. You know, they had Harden. Harden did his thing. You know, Claxton played pretty good. You know, they're not playing with Joe Harris. Joe Harris is still out. But the guys they had on the floor last night looked really good. So I got to give it to them. They basically looked really good last night. Brooklyn did. Even though that they had injuries. And, you know, KD didn't play as well. So I look at it that way. They look pretty good. And even though that, you know, they were decimated by their injuries in the protocol as well. Okay, guys. I'm going to go to another little subject. I think what I'm going to do is we're going to look at the poo-poo of the week. Okay, for this episode of the poo-poo of the week, I want to ask you guys, what was your poo-poo of the week? Kate and Guru, I want to ask you, what is your poo-poo of the week? What do you have as poo-poo of the week?
Can I just say like the team?
Yeah, you can say a team.
The Jacksonville Jaguars.
Okay, why is the Jacksonville Jaguars poo-poo of the week?
They're the poo-poo of the year, honestly. To think, because like, have they ever thought like Urban Meyer would be a good coach for them? At the beginning?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we went into that and we talked about that last week, and you know, I agree with you. You know, poo-poo of the week. As a matter of fact, all the yearly stuff I'm going to be doing next week. Episode 94 is going to be the year end, and I'm going to round up everything that was going on in the year of 2021. But I look at it this way. The poo-poo of the week has to be Jacksonville, because they were basically, after they cleaned out Urban and they looked like they was going to play or play really good, you know, what happened? They kind of fell apart. And Houston is not that good at all. Matter of fact, Houston's going to get smoked today by the Chargers. But I just don't understand how they did that. Cousin Aaron, I got a question for you. Who was your poo-poo of the week? Was it your, who was it?
I'm sorry. My poo-poo, I got to return back to the Lakers, Guru. They disappoint me to the extent that why do they keep playing Russell Westbrook at a high rate? I mean, they might be having a lot of injuries here, the injuries there, but he might as well be injured also, because he's throwing the ball away too many times, man. He got more throwaways, turnovers than he does assists. He continues to disappoint me. He's a detrimental to the backcourt of this team. I'm pissed because he is really the holdback of this team. It's nothing LeBron can do. There's nothing Dwight Howard can do. You know, it just ticks me off, man. You know, he's really holding the team back. So he continues to be my poo-poo. He'll continue to be the poo-poo until he learns not to throw the ball away. Oh man, that upsets me so much, Guru.
All right. I tell you what, I can hear the upsetness. I know that's not a word, but I know I can hear it in your voice. All right, I tell you what we're gonna do right now. We're gonna take a break right here. The clock is running, and we got about like 7 minutes and 30 seconds left in the first quarter, and we'll be right back with this break, and we're gonna talk a little bit about. I think we're going to continue on with the Laker talk, but we're going to finish it up as well. I have a thought that I wanted to bring out about the Lakers as well, and all the NBA teams, but we'll be back right after this break. Welcome back to the Guru Talking Sports Podcast. This is episode 93, and I'm here with Cousin Guru. I was getting ready to say Cousin Guru. I was getting ready to say Cousin Guru. Cousin Aaron and Katie Guru. This is what happens when you get both of these names mixed up. And, you know, like I told you guys before, Guru doesn't really, you know, his brain doesn't think like that. But anyway, we actually ran a little bit over in that quarter, and we only got about like 7 minutes left in this quarter. I'm going to finish this quarter out with some of the things that is going on in the NBA. The protocol has been, you know, I mean, this is one thing that we got to get rid of is that protocol. And basically, hopefully, we got to get back to what's going on in the world. I mean, you know, the world is basically the Omicron virus is whatever, mutation. Or, you know what? I really don't know. I just basically work every single day. And I try to make sure that I don't, you know, have to deal with it. I wear a mask everywhere I go. And to tell you, okay, before I go into any other subject, I want to say this. We're going to kind of spitball it here the rest of the way in this quarter. Yesterday, on Christmas Day, I had to go over to my mom's house. And me and Cade and Guru went over there, but we had to wear a mask inside the house because my mom, my sister, my brother, and my nephew all were recovering from the COVID. And I made sure that I was protected. I basically wore a mask. I wear a mask everywhere. And, you know, my mom knows that and everything. Cade and Guru was still, you know, he was kind of worried, and he wore a mask as well. But the thing about it is that this thing is just taken off to the point where it's just like everybody, everywhere has been going on. I mean, it's just, when are we going to get over this, basically? I just don't know. When are we going to get over this? We can get back to normal. You know, there were bowl games that were canceled. The NHL is actually shut down. And they had to take and, you know, switch games around because of this thing. And, you know, it's getting to the point where it's just like really, really outrageous. Now, Cousin Aaron, I want to ask you, how has it been up there in your neck of the woods with this thing? And what is your thoughts on what's going on with this thing?
The same thing, as you mentioned. The mask, wearing the mask is one of the most effective things thus far in protecting you, your loved ones, and people around you. And I meant to say this a while back, that I can't understand why these people in the stands, the fans, are not wearing masks at all of these games, whether it's hockey, baseball, football, basketball. Who are they protecting? It seems like nobody really gives a damn, you know? Mm-hmm. And that's ticking me off, man. And I can't, it befuddles me. I'm lost for words because you want to protect yourself first and foremost, and at the same time protect your loved ones and people, your friends, and everybody around you. So that's my take on that, man. I just don't get it. Rescheduling these games and everything because of the COVID. We be wearing masks for the rest of our lives, it seems like. That's what it seems like.
I think so. I think so. I ain't mean to cut you off, but yeah, I think so.
No, good. Good.
I think we're really going to be wearing masks the rest of our lives. I don't have a problem with wearing a mask because, like I said, I have so many different masks. Matter of fact, I got a Tom Brady mask coming. Uh-oh. Go now. When I mention Tom Brady, you know, this guy comes in here, and be quiet. Sit down and be quiet and stop looking at me. Okay. You know, I have to put up with him all the time. Anyway, I got a Tom Brady mask coming, and you know what? I don't mind it because, like I said, I like to look stylish. You know, I hate to say this, but I am a handsome man, and I'm like Muhammad Ali. When it comes down to being handsome and everything, I'm like Muhammad Ali, very flamboyant. But I look at it this way: I have to do the right thing to protect myself. Cade and Guru, I want to ask you a question. How did you feel about this situation and wearing masks and everything, in your opinion?
It's just simple. Just wear a mask, protect others, and get vaccinated.
Get vaccinated, yeah. Might as well. Okay.
Yep.
All right, guys. This is the end of the first quarter. We're going to go to the break in a second. And like I said, that we usually have that horn that comes in. It should be coming in right about now. All right, guys, that's the end of the first quarter. Great first quarter. We'll be back with the second quarter. And we're going to talk about what happened 50 years ago and one day. Bad Man of the Week is coming up. And also, we'll get your thoughts on all the other things that was going on in the world of sports. We're going to talk about the rest of what happened yesterday as well. with those 2 football games. Guru Talking Sports Podcast will be right back in just a moment. Hey, welcome back to the Guru Talking Sports Podcast. This is episode 93, and I want to make sure that you guys know that this phone number, Caden Guru has got something for you right now. What is that phone number, Caden Guru, to call when you want to talk to the Guru?
302-468-7239.
302-468-7239. Like I told you before, call the Guru, text the Guru. You can leave me voicemails. You can do anything. We want to make sure that we hear from you, and we want to make sure that you guys are being interactive with us. We love to hear from you. We would love to hear from you. All right. Now, starting in the second quarter, I'm going to go into something that is very near and dear to my heart. 50 years ago and one day, the day was December 25th, 1971. Now, Caden Guru, do you remember that day?
No.
He doesn't because he wasn't here. He only came around. His starting date is about 2005. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, you are 16. Right?
Yeah.
All right. All right, Cousin Aaron, you remember that day, don't you?
Yes, I do. I do. I think it was in relation to a football game.
Yes, in relation to a football game. One of the greatest football games of all time was being played. The Kansas City Chiefs, under Hank Stram and Lynn Dawson, played against the Miami Dolphins under Don Shula, Bob Greasy. Oh, man. This was a great game. And I remember it like yesterday because I was sitting in my cousin's house in Philadelphia. And like, if you guys ever read my Facebook pages, my Facebook page has a little bit of a story about that and what happened on that day. But I wanted to go back to that day and think about how is it that 50 years time passed and we can remember an event just like it was yesterday. My goodness, it was. Okay, first of all, I want to ask Cousin Aaron, what was your thoughts about that game and that day, Christmas Day, 1971?
I think it was a highlighted game because both teams were at their peak. It was the strongest point in both of them teams' moments. They had the best teams outside of maybe Pittsburgh or whatever, but this particular game was outstanding because it was the strongest of both teams. It was the strongest that they could show from either side. I remember that well. Yep.
Okay. Now, listen to some of the guys that were on these teams. Kansas City was led by Lynn Dawson, Hall of Fame.
Yep.
Hank Stram, Hall of Fame. Buck Buchanan, Hall of Fame. Willie Lanier, Hall of Fame. Emmett Thomas, Hall of Fame. All these guys, defense, offense, this was one of the best teams in the NFL. Kansas City was basically coming off of that Super Bowl win when they beat the Minnesota Vikings in 1970. They actually played it. It was the 70 season, and you know how the merger happened in 1970. So they basically were in the NFL, or they were in the AFL still, and they end up beating Minnesota in the Super Bowl. Miami was led by Don Shula, Hall of Fame. Bob Greasy, Hall of Fame. Larry Zonka, one of my favorite players of all time. And I wanted to mention also that was why I kind of gravitate around to the number 39. Larry Zonka and another baseball figure is two of my favorite players because they were just, when I remember that day when watched that game, I actually, kind of fell in love with Larry Zonkin. I thought that he was like, man, the battling ram, that the guy that was just so, he was just like the excellent runner. I thought that he was the greatest thing that was on a football field. Now, like I mentioned also, Paul Warfield, Hall of Fame. I mean, Nick Bonaconte, Hall of Fame. Jake Scott, Bob Standage. They had like so many. I mean, this was like a classic game to where, I can understand where people could say the Giants and the Colts back in the 50s. I know that game was really good. That was the first sudden death game. But this game that we're talking about between Kansas City and Miami was the longest played game in NFL history.
Yep.
And it was just really nice to see a game where, it was classic and it had Hall of Famers in it, and it basically looked really, really good. So, I mean, it was just something else to where we looked at it, and we didn't know it at the time that it was going to be a classic, but it was a classic. How do you feel about it, Cousin Aaron? Do you think it was a classic?
It was. That's the one that Miami won, right?
Miami did win that. They won that in the second overtime on a field goal by Garo Yepremian.
Yeah, boy, he was one of those straight-on kickers, right?
Yeah.
Like Mark Moses. Yeah. Yeah, it was a strong game because I said they were at their peak. They were at their strongest. Yes, sir.
They were. And, one of the things, I wanted to say something about Kansas City and Miami. Kansas City, like I said, when they were in their prime in that time, they had just won their first Super Bowl, and they basically were, trying to keep the momentum of the Kansas City Chiefs and trying to keep that brand going. Now, what happened is that Miami, with that game that they won, they basically kind of jump-started their dynasty. Because if you remember, the undefeated team in 70, 72, 73 or so, they won 73, whatever. They were undefeated. But they had a jump start on their dynasty as well. Now, another two teams that we can mention also was Pittsburgh and the Oakland Raiders. Now, they basically were those teams that were gritty, and they basically had dynasties. And you can remember the Immaculate Reception happened back in like 1970, 71, somewhere around in there. That basically jump-started the Pittsburgh Steelers dynasty and gave them their run after Miami, after they kind of like, Miami ended a little bit in there. So, it all comes down to Miami and Kansas City. This game was one of the classics and basically a game that will always be remembered in my lifetime. Like I said, 50 years ago, I was sitting at my cousin's house. All the cousins was there. They were basically, we just sat there. We looked at the game. We had one of the best meals I have ever had on a Christmas day. And, it was just something else to where we all can remember where we were. I remember definitely where I was that day, 50 years ago, 50 years and one day ago. So, do you have any other thoughts about that day, Cousin Aaron?
It was a clear day. I know that. I'm sure. Actually, Bob Greasy at the time, he was rated as one of the best throwers of the game. You know how you throw the ball. He was on target with his passes. Dawson was like almost like a scrambling type of quarterback. He would dodge and move and groove, whatever he had to do to get the ball down the field. But I give it to Bob Greasy because he was an on-target man. I remember him throwing those passes, man, like right between the numbers, right? You know, if he's throwing the 81, right between the 8 to 1, man, he was on target. So I remember that. It was a little bit of both, a little running. You know, Zonka, he ran his tail off, man. He was unstoppable. Unstoppable. I remember that well. That's what I get to take. I get from the game. You know?
Yeah. You know, and one of my things about that game, and that I remember, is that when Elmo Wright caught the touchdown pass from Len Dawson, he was
oh man.
He actually, to me, I think that was one of the first end zone celebrations I ever saw. When him jumping up and down and like he looked like he was running in place or trotting, and it was like one of the first times we had all seen it, because when he caught the ball, I remember everybody, all my cousins and everything, jumped up and said, "Look at this guy! Look at this guy!" And it was like something of amazement, because this was basically the first time we ever saw an end zone celebration, and it was something classic. Because another thing I wanted to say is that one of my favorites, and I always remember this from the Super Bowl between Kansas City and Miami and Minnesota, is that I always liked Otis Taylor. Otis Taylor was one of my favorite receivers from back in the day. And like I said, Otis Taylor was, I mean, amazing. I mean, it was like, he reminded me a little bit of, I can't really compare him to anybody, but I'll have to say, in a way, he kind of reminded me of Calvin Johnson in that, in that game. And he just reminded me of, how big and strong and able to cut and be able to, make, kind of break tackles and everything. He was a great receiver, a great wide receiver. And I really like Otis Taylor. Remember, if you watch the 70 Super Bowl with Hank Stram calling out, Wendell Hayes, where's Wendell Hayes? And Wendell Hayes was a great running back. I mean, he wasn't that big. He wasn't, it seemed like he wasn't really that strong, but he was able to make plays and make, break through holes and everything. Kansas City had a really good team. I mean, I remember Emmett Thomas, probably one of the greatest defensive backs of all time. He was on that game. And it was so many guys that was there, which made that game really special. Bob Greasy, Paul Warfield. They were, like I said, it was one of the greatest games, one of the greatest things I ever seen, because of all the Hall of Fame players that came through that game. It was amazing. I thought it was really, really amazing. Okay. All right, now we're going to close on that, but I want you guys to know that we're going to take a short break here, and we'll be back in a few minutes. Just hang loose. We'll see you in a second. This is the Guru Talking Sports. Hang tight. We'll be right back. Okay, y'all. We're back. Guru Talking Sports Podcast, episode number 93. Okay, I did mention something about, I wanted to say something to the effect of, I know we've been Laker heavy on this podcast, and we've been football heavy on this podcast. I do want to mention something about the Lakers. One thing I did see, and one thing I wanted to tell you guys about basketball, is that they are using the protocol, since we're in the protocol again, the Players Union and I guess the NBA have approved to where they can basically sign replacement players. Now, the Lakers picked up Darren Collison, and they picked up Stanley Johnson. Now, I remember Stanley Johnson from Arizona. I do like University of Arizona. He played pretty well in that game yesterday. And Collison seemed like he was, trying to get his feet together. But Collison did play. I think that will help the Lakers out a little bit. What do you think, Cousin Aaron? Do you think that'll help them out a little bit?
It should. They give them a lot. They need a lot of playing time. A lot of practice time to fit in with the team. This is what we call the. Correct me if I'm wrong. The emergency protocol list. These guys, if they're playing well enough, they might be signed permanently, or at least for a year contract. So it should help. It should help them. But first, we got to find the combination. Don't you agree? The combination that's going to fit well with LeBron and the rest of the crew.
I agree. And that's the thing. It's just what we said before is that, I'm not going to keep banging on the same subject all the way through. But we do need to they do need to find they have to have a quick fix. And it has to be like right now, because that quick fix has to be turned in as soon as possible, because I don't think going on is going to help them. Going on is not going to help them. And trying to figure it out on the fly is not going to help. Okay? All right. I'm going to end that portion of it, and I'm going to go to He's a Bad Man. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this. When we play He's a Bad Man, who do we always play? Muhammad Ali. Here's He's a Bad Man.
I know the world. I talk to God every day. If God's with me, can't nobody be against me. I shook up the world. I shook up the world. I am the king of the world. Hold it. Hold it. You're not that pretty. I'm a bad man. Wait. I shook up the world. I shook up the world. I shook up the world.
He shook up the world. He shook up the world. Yes, he did. That was my man, Muhammad Ali. And what I'm going to do is something different. Okay, Cousin Aaron, do you have a bad man for this week?
Man. Come back to me on that one. I had a couple of them, but come back to me on that, because it has something to do with basketball.
Okay.
Lost train of thought, Guru. Sorry about that.
That's okay. I know, I kind of swung it to you a little bit early, but that's okay.
Yeah.
I tell you what, I'm going to go to Caden Guru. Caden Guru, do you have a bad man of the week?
Yeah, let me go with Aaron-Rodgers.
Aaron-Rodgers.
Aaron-Rodgers is the bad man of the week.
Aaron-Rodgers, to me, is always the bad man of the week. And you know what? I hate to say this, but Tom Brady, he's still my bad man of all time. I cannot go against Tom Brady. I love Tom Brady. And, it's just, I guess it's just me. And here I am a Raider fan. I am a Jaguar fan. As much as he's done to do in both of my teams, I still got to give it to him. I still got to give Tom Brady the bad man. I mean, he's my bad man almost every week. So, but you know what? I do want to mention another bad man. I want to mention the Philadelphia Eagles coach, Nick. Correct me if I'm wrong. Sirianni, right? Yeah. Is that right? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yep.
Now, what I saw the other day on the Tuesday night football game, is that right?
Yeah.
Tuesday night football game, is that Nick Sirianni, what he did, he basically jumped up into Jalen Hurts' face and corrected him on how not to turn the ball over. I thought, now for me personally, I thought that was a bold and good move.
I agree.
A gold standard, goal situation. Now, Philadelphia fan, I want to talk to you right quick. Now, we're going to end up a bad man right here, but I want to talk to Philadelphia fan right quick, and I want you guys to lay out. Philadelphia fan, I got to give it to you. I have to give you all the credit. All the credit I can basically give to you, because, you know what? I got to give it to you from the beginning. I thought Nick Sirianni, is that right, Nick Sirianni? I thought Nick Sirianni was let's put it this way, a ding-a-ling. Okay, I thought he was a ding-a-ling. I really did. Because I didn't think that he had any concept of how to coach in the NFL. But he does. He actually does. He's really, really nice. He's really good. I got to give it to him. You know, I got to give him big props because, I mean, he lasted longer than Urban Meyer. And I don't want to keep mentioning that fool's name because I'm done with him. We're basically done with him. And, you know, I got to give Philadelphia a lot of credit. And like I said, everybody thinks that I hate Philadelphia. No, I don't hate Philadelphia. But I give you credit where credit is due. You get big props when you do something good. And in this situation, what I saw from what I saw, whatever. What I seen from the coach was basically, he told him, he jumped in his face and he got in his face and he told him, he said, hey, look, you know what? That is not what we need right now. And Hurts came back and said, hey, you know what? My father was a coach and Nick Sirianni's father was a coach. Hard coaching is not a big deal. I gotta give Nick Sirianni my bad man of the week because I thought that he did a really good job in coaching, and basically he showed me something, a side of him that I never thought I would see from anything out of Philadelphia or from a Philadelphia football coach. I got to give him credit. And Caden Guru, I want you to remember this. Now, I want both of you guys to remember this. I did give Philadelphia some credit. Did I not give Philadelphia some credit, y'all?
Yes, you did. Oh, yeah. They can't badmouth you.
Now, I call it like I see it. When you are bad, you are bad. Jacksonville knows that I call them out when they're bad. The Raiders know that I call them out when they're bad. What did I just do? We started off the show talking about how bad the Lakers are. Now, like I told you guys, I give credit where credit is due. That's all you have to do. And like I said, when you with the guru, you will get the truth. I'm not going to sit up here and make something up. I'm not going to make something up, and I'm not going to tell you any jokes or any lies or whatever. But I want to say, hey, look, you know what? This happens when you get big props and big credit here from the guru when something good happens. Okay, now, quickly, I want to get to these couple little things before we get to the end of this quarter. I want to ask you guys, what do you think about the two games yesterday with the first game between Cleveland and Green Bay and the second game between Indianapolis and the Colts, or the Colts and the Cardinals, I'm sorry. Okay, first of all, I want to throw it to you, Cousin Aaron. What do you think of those two games from yesterday?
Well, this is part of my, I lost my mind for a minute when I said I lost my mind about picking two people for the bad man. Well, this is part of it. Devontae Adams, he makes Green Bay go too, besides Aaron-Rodgers. I think that's a hell of a combination. Aaron-Rodgers just put the pedal to the metal, and he's outstanding. And the defense does show up. They show up when they need to show up. So that was a good win, even though it was a tight one, but it was a good win. It just goes to show you that Aaron-Rodgers can overcome almost anything, man. He's the lead runner for the MVP as far as I'm concerned. Between him and Brady, yeah.
All right. How about you, Caden Guru? What did you see with those two games? You did watch the second game, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I did fall asleep, and I cannot comment on the second game. I want you to comment on the second game right quick on how do you see these two games from yesterday?
Missed opportunities by Arizona. First thing, importantly, their defense, they got a lot of penalties. Kyler Murray wasn't really clicking. The offensive line wasn't really blocking. But I kind of saw this from earlier weeks when Arizona was undefeated. I knew that they were going to have a season collapse like last year. They didn't even make the playoffs last year. And I know that they're going to they might make the playoffs this year, but they're not gonna like make it to like the NFC Championship.
Okay. Another thing I wanted to ask you, do you think the injuries to Connor, to DeAndre Hopkins, or is that his name? DeAndre Hopkins. Yeah, those are factors. Those are factors also.
Yeah.
That now, from the Colts standpoint, I think that the Colts are playing the best football in the NFL right now. And
I think the biggest thing is Jonathan Taylor, but look at how Carson Wentz played last night. He's consistent. He was consistent on his throws. He's threw 2 touchdowns, won the Michael Pittman. I'm pretty sure. He's just like he's playing good football right now, and like nobody can bring him down.
yeah, and they're still talking about that draft pick between Philadelphia and Indianapolis. Do you think that they're basically going to get that draft pick?
Yeah, he played 75% of his snaps already, so.
All right, so they are going to get that. I look at it this way: the Colts are, I'm from Baltimore originally. I'll let you guys know that I still hate the Colts for leaving Baltimore, but I want to make sure that I want to say this is that they're playing the best football I've seen, and Jonathan Taylor and an improved Carson Wentz is basically doing the right thing. And you did say Michael Pittman did catch a touchdown, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's good because that's good for my fantasy team. And we're in the fourth quarter being Katie Guru. We'll talk about fantasy because we got something going on, and we're gonna let you guys know. Cousin Aaron, did you watch that game last night?
No, I went to sleep.
Okay.
No, I saw parts of it. And Carson Wentz, like you just said, he seems like he improved over 2 or 3 weeks, man. He's bringing it on. The defense has stepped up for the coach. So I did see part of the third quarter, yeah.
Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about the first game. I did watch that because I am a big Nick Chubb fan. I love Nick Chubb. And like I was, me and Katie Guru are in the same fantasy league. And I just basically, he's my co-commissioner. I'm the commissioner. He's my co-commissioner. So what I told him is that we're basically in this fantasy league, we're going to keep 1 wide receiver, 1 quarterback, and 1 running back. I am not giving up Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb is my favorite running back. As a matter of fact, he's my favorite player, other than Tom Brady. Okay. Now, I saw this game, and I knew that Cleveland needed to win this game, or they would be toast. They basically are toast right now because the Baker Mayfield experiment is not really going that well. 4 interceptions. Is that right? 4 interceptions.
2 to Rasul Douglas.
Rasul Douglas, who's been,
stepping up.
Yeah, he's been really, really good. I mean, he basically has had an MVP season, and we know that he's not going to win an MVP.
He's a Pro Bowl alternate.
He's a Pro Bowl alternate. That's good for him. I'm glad that he did make the Pro Bowl. And I just don't understand how Baker Mayfield just didn't look good. He didn't look good at all. I mean, the touchdown that he did throw to Schwartz was okay. Is that his name, Schwartz? Okay. You guys got to remember, the Guru don't remember names or people. But that was a good throw. Other than that, it seems like he was just basically throwing the ball around, and everybody was basically just catching it for the wrong team. So, I mean, I look at it this way, I don't know. It doesn't look good for him. And like I said, guys, I'm going to end up in this segment right here and let you guys know that, we are coming back for we're actually going into halftime. We'll be back in the third quarter, and we will see you guys in a few seconds. The air horn is about ready to come on. It should be coming on pretty soon. And okay, that's the end of the third quarter. Or, I'm sorry, the end of the second quarter. Guru's ahead of himself. We're going into halftime. Guys, stick around. We'll be right back with the second half of this podcast. You guys take it easy. Hang loose. We'll see you in a bit. Okay, guys, welcome back to the Guru Talking Sports Podcast. We really appreciate you sticking around. We only got about a couple of minutes left in each quarter. And what we're going to do is we're going to run it down to where we get everything in. Now our two quarters are only 15 minutes apiece, which is the right thing. And like I said, we are going to go to Cousin Aaron right now. He has a few people that he wanted to say hi to. Cousin Aaron, go ahead.
All right. As always, this part of the show is brought to you by My NFL Views, a weekly publication sponsored and it's sponsored by me. Actually, it's my Facebook sports page, and I narrowed down to 3 highlighted games each week. Now for my shout-outs. I got Gerard Pickney, the Bennett brothers, Keith Showtime Bussey, Mercy Thompson. Also have Jimmy Vogue, Sheila Brooks, Anya Myers, Gerald Farmer, Diane Yates, Ronnie Goldring, Anissa Twinkie Hargrove. She's an excellent solo artist. Erica Bronner, John Bunny Butler, Cornell Banks, Linda and Rob Reese, Lee Count Briscoe, the NWO horn players who are musicians, and they go by the name of the NWO horn players. That's Gilbert Pryor, Lenny Harris, and Lenny Harris and Wandale Brown, and Nick Johnson from the radio station WPFW 89.3 in DC. Also, I'd like to give a shout out to my sweetheart, Ann Radel, who serves as a computer technical advisor that keeps me on the air each and every week. I don't know what I would do without her. All right, back to you, Guru and Caden.
All right, thank you. Appreciate that. And like I said, we really appreciate the people that listen to us. We appreciate the people that we shout out every week. And we want you to know that we appreciate your patronage. Is that the right word? Patronage. I want you guys to shout out. We shout out everybody. The thing is that we want you guys to know that we appreciate you. And like I said, our connection with you guys makes us, successful. So we want to say thank you. And we also want to say we wish you a very Merry Christmas. I know that Christmas is the 26th of December right now, but I hope that you had a great and safe Christmas, and we want to say thank you for listening to us and this episode of the Guru Talking Sports Podcast. Okay, Caden Guru, what is the number that we call to come in and talk to the Guru? What number do you have?
302-468-7239.
Okay. Cousin Aaron, do you call that number?
I have called it once and I'll never call it again.
Okay. Why is it that you should not call that number?
It's a hotline for your faithful subscribed people. Call that number that Kate just put out. It's not for me. It's definitely not for me. I will never call that number again. The hotline.
It's okay. It's okay. And like I said, we always joke around about certain things, and I like having the interaction with our Cousin Aaron and Caden Guru when he's here. And the thing about it is that we try to keep this thing really, really funny. We try to keep it light. And the thing about it is that we try to put out information for you guys that we need. Like I said, you can listen to any podcast in the world. And I know everybody has a sports podcast. Everybody does this. Everybody does that. But you know what? I try to do something different. I'm on a time clock right now. And looking at my time clock, and I'm looking at it, I got about like maybe 10 minutes or so left in this quarter. But the thing about it is that I try to do it differently. I'm coming up with creative new things to try to make it interactive and make it funny and make it informative, that's the word, not informationals or whatever. But I want to make sure that, you guys know that, this is a podcast where you can listen to, you can enjoy it, you can laugh, you can cry, you can dance, you can sing, whatever you want to do. But the thing about it is that we make sure that you guys are having a good time out there. And we really appreciate you. Okay, in the rest of this quarter, I'm going to talk about hockey. I'm not going to, I'm going to talk about hockey a little bit. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go to the fourth quarter, and then we're going to wrap it up. After that, we still have I'll Take That Bet, and we also have What's Pissing You Off. So I do have a couple people that actually are pissed off, and I wanted to, make sure that I read their little bit of information in there as well. Okay, now hockey is shut down. The Canadian border has closed, and now there's no hockey going on because the outbreak or so is starting to get that bad. And like I said, it seems like we're talking about this over and over and over again. This pandemic has done something to sports. Like I said, it basically cost a couple teams bowl games as well. And I want to make sure that I say this about hockey. I love hockey, and my man Jeff Duarte is going to be in here probably after the new year. We got to sit down and we got to work out some things, and he's always welcome in here. He's one of my favorite guys, favorite people, and he's just like a brother to me. But he comes in, he's going to be coming in pretty soon, and we're going to, talk some hockey and what's going on in the NHL. Because like I said, I usually try to touch on all the major four sports and everything that's going on. And also with Jeff, he's a big, big MMA guy. I like MMA, and like I said, I want to, make sure that we get everything in here sports-wise into this podcast. So I got an expert in MMA. I'll bring him in. Like I said, next week, what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap up the year in review. I'm going to talk. I'm going to let you guys know what's going on with that a little bit later in the podcast right now. But like I said, the border in Canada is shut down. There's no hockey going on. And also that they're not sending superstars to the Olympics. And believe me, and I forgot about this. The Olympics is right around the corner. It seemed like we had Olympics. Didn't we have Olympics this year?
Yeah.
We had the Summer Olympics. Didn't we have the Summer Olympics this year?
Yep.
Am I right? Or?
Yep, you're right. Summer Olympics.
Yeah, the Summer Olympics was this year. And we're turning around in February. The Winter Olympics is coming. So, I mean, it's like, I don't understand. I mean, because of this pandemic, it messed up a whole lot of things. And I think that the Winter Olympics is what now? They're every 2 years? Can't remember. Nobody can remember, but I think they're every 2 years now, right?
I'm not quite sure. Still used to be loud about it.
All right.
It seems like it comes right away, man.
Yeah, it seemed like they just, I don't know. It seemed like they just had the freaking Winter Olympics a couple years ago. It seemed like a month ago or so. But, it seemed like they're just coming on all of a sudden. But I know that the Olympics were this year for, Anyway, I want to wrap this up in a few seconds, but like I said, there's a couple things I do want to mention about basketball. Paul George is hurt for the Clippers, and he's going to be out for a little bit. That was a blow to them, and that hopefully can, it seems like we're, talking a lot about basketball. That can hopefully help the Lakers or help the Clippers or whatever. The Angelo Russell is in the protocol as well. And they're still talking about in-season playoff games in the NBA. I don't know why, but I like the play-in games at the end of the year where, you have to play in, to get into that 7 and 8 seed. I do kind of like that. last year we had, Golden State and the Lakers play, and I thought that was pretty good. Okay. You guys have anything that you want to wrap up for the end of this period?
Not really.
All right. I tell you what we're going to do is we're going to take a break right here. We're going to go to the fourth quarter, and we're going to talk a little bit about I'll take that bet and what's pissing you off. I'll be right back in a second. The Guru Talking Sports Podcast, episode 93, will be right back in just a moment. Okay, guys, we're back with episode 93 of the Guru Talking Sports Podcast. And I want to wrap up the end of this quarter by saying, you guys don't forget that these bowl games are going on. Now, I did mention something about the Hawaii Bowl was canceled. Their opponent, who was their opponent? I don't know. But anyway, this is kind of crazy. Memphis was their opponent. I remember.
Memphis, yeah.
Memphis flew all the way over, and they, didn't have Christmas with their families and everything, but they flew all the way over to Hawaii, and guess what? They didn't play their bowl game. And a couple other teams were canceled as well. Texas A&M was canceled out of the Gator Bowl, and Rutgers is going to fill in for them. So we got to give big props to Rutgers for filling in. And we, don't give big props to Hawaii for canceling their game because they knew that they were going to get beat anyway. So, I just don't understand it. But the thing about it is that, Hawaii, I'm not gonna go into my thoughts and comments about Hawaii. That was kind of good that Memphis got over there to get a trip to Hawaii, but the thing about it is that they went all the way out there and then they didn't have to play a game. So we're gonna wrap up this quarter, and it's coming to an end pretty soon. Matter of fact, it's coming in 3, 2, 1. Okay, guys, that's it. That's the end of the third quarter. We're going to go to the fourth quarter. We're going to wrap it up. And like I said, we appreciate you listening. I know it's been a little bit long, but we're going to get this to the end of the program in a few seconds. This is the Guru Talking Sports Podcast, episode 93. We'll be right back with the fourth quarter in a few seconds. Hang tight. Hey guys, welcome back to the Guru Talking Sports Podcast. We're in the fourth quarter right now. We're going to be wrapping it up pretty soon. But I just want to say that I really appreciate you hanging in there with us. I know it's been a little bit long today, but the thing about it is that we're trying to get this thing under 90 minutes, which is where we're right now. We're doing pretty good with it. Okay, now, before I go to I'll take that bet, I want to ask you guys, both of you guys, what's pissing you off? Okay, I want to ask you, and I got a couple things I want to read too. Okay, Kaden Guru, first of all, I want to ask you, what's pissing you off?
I would probably say John Harbaugh's coaching decisions. But I have to admit this. He is a player's coach, and he was on the sidelines talking about going for two and huddling up with his players, and I can respect that. But when you have the best kicker in the game, you kind of just have to, take the 1 point and play overtime. And their defense, I know that their defense is shorthanded, and they weren't really going to stop aaron-rodgers, but at least give them a shot, because that's what football is about.
Okay. Now, I got a question. Now, he did actually ask the players, do they want to go for two or do they want to go for one?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's cool. All right, Cousin Aaron, you got anything that's pissing you off?
What pisses me off is, why do these people keep going in the stands with the mask off? I keep going the same subject. Why are they letting these people go into the Oh man, and all these the fans are in the stands without a mask. They don't care. It's pissing me off to watch this. Anybody could be part of this, and then they get sick and wonder, oh, what happened? What happened? Why am I sick? Because you dummies are going into these games. You can stay home and watch it, man. Stay home and watch it. It just pisses me off. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's what pisses me off.
Okay, I basically agree with you because believe me, at this point in time and where we're at right now, I would rather stay home and watch a football game anyway. I'm not going to go out and do anything. I don't, and my thing is, I work so much. And like I said, you guys know that I do drive a truck for a living and I travel. And that's basically what I do. But the thing about it is that I want to just come home and relax and watch sports. That's it. I'll play Xbox, I'll play PlayStation, I'll watch sports. That's all I want to do. Eat, and I just, that's all I want to do. I agree with you. I don't want to go outside, and I don't want to do nothing. When I'm done, I'm done. I come home and I shut down. I understand what you're saying about that. And I understand about, people should be wearing their masks. And believe me, I wear my mask everywhere. Like I told you guys, I got masks that I got designer masks, Oakley masks. I got everything. I mean, masks is like one of the coolest things, and I think that, hey, you got to wear a mask. What pisses me off is that, like you said, why is it that, people don't want to wear a mask? I mean, if you're not vaccinated, and see, this goes back to another thing that what pisses me off about my nephew. Now, listen to this. My nephew had given my mom, my brother, and my sister COVID. He basically don't want to go out there and get vaccinated. I'm looking at him as being a carrier. He is basically pissing me off because he don't want to do the right thing. Everybody in that household went and got vaccinated. They got their shots. I think they're going to go get the booster as well. He doesn't want to. I really, he pisses me off all the time. And that's one of the things that really pisses me off. Now, I do have a couple of things from Joe in Kansas, or I'm sorry, Jan. I apologize. Jan in Kansas City says pisses her off is that she doesn't like when people are just rude during the holiday season. I understand that's true. Rudeness is never, we shouldn't have rudeness anyway. I mean, especially with the situation in this world is right now. Everybody should be nice to each other. Mike in Detroit said that he's pissed off with people that are driving like maniacs. I agree. And like I said, driving for a living. Huh?
I can respect that.
I can respect it too. Driving for a living, I understand, Mike. I totally, wholeheartedly agree with you. I hate people when they drive and they run up behind you and they blow the horn and they are, ignorant. And just ignorant to the point where you have to, it just uncalled for. And I gotta mention something that a little bit later on today, me and Katie Guru are gonna go out, and he has his permit. He got his permit. We gotta give him big props for having a permit. And we gotta also, we're gonna go out and we're gonna have a little bit of a driving thing. I'm gonna take him out to an open lot, and he's gonna drive my car. And I'd rather he drive my car than Miss Guru's car because I'm not going to go into that. I'm not even going to touch that subject because that is something that I don't want to deal with. Okay, but that's what's pissing me off. Okay, we're going to get ready to wrap this thing in a few seconds. We're going to go to I'll Take That Bet. And before I go to I'll Take That Bet, okay, it's not the end of the quarter. I'm sorry, but that just went off. That sound horn went off. I don't know why, but it just went off. But anyway, I know it's telling us that we got to get close to the end of the game. All right, but anyway, I want to mention to you guys that I really enjoy talking about this stuff. And, I really, really appreciate you guys just hanging in there with us. I know, like I said, hey, it's a little bit long, but we definitely want to make sure that we get you guys in and we give you all the information that we basically can give you. Okay, now, what's that phone number, Caden? What do people want to call it?
302-468-7239.
That's right. Caden Guru mentioned it again. 302-468-7239. It's a phone number. We will definitely get to the picks of the week right now. And like I said, when we go to the picks of the week, what do we always usually play? The Raiders national anthem. Is that right, Caden Guru? He doesn't like it.
The Raiders are disappointing.
Raiders. Hey, wait a minute. All right. They beat the Eagles.
The autumn wind is a pirate, blustering in from sea.
You ought to see him right now.
Song he sweeps along, swaggering boisterous.
He's actually holding up my Raiders sign. Uh-oh.
He wears a hood.
Okay, guys. I'll take that bet. And like I mentioned before, that when we go to the I'll take that bet segment, we're always going with the autumn wind and the great voice of John Facenda. Okay, here's the picks.
Pillaging just for fun.
I just wanted to say
He'll
that.
knock you round and upside down and laugh when he's conquered and won.
That's right. Anyway. All right. Let's go to the picks of the week. Baltimore, and the picks of the week is actually sponsored by, I got this from Sportsline. Sportsline.com. I want to give them credit. And like I said, I always give people credit when they credit is due. And the credit for them is that, we took their odds and bets from their site. Okay. Let's start with Baltimore and Cincinnati. I'm going to go around the room. Cincinnati is a 7-point favorite. Caden Guru, who you got in this game?
I got Cincinnati. Lamar Jackson and Tyler Huntley are not playing. So
Tyler Huntley ain't playing?
I'm pretty sure he is not playing.
Oh, man. I don't know who they going to have at
Mark
quarterback.
Andrews has to have a big game.
Mark Andrews has to have a big game for fantasy. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. Cousin Aaron, who you got? Baltimore or Cincinnati?
I got Cincinnati. Baltimore is headed in the wrong direction.
Definitely. I'm going to go with that, and I'm going to take Cincinnati. Okay, like I said, we pick all the games, including the bad games. Here's one. Jacksonville is going up to the Meadowlands to play the New York Jets. They're a 1.5 underdog. Cousin Aaron, who do you got in this game?
The Jets are going to look like a Super Bowl team today.
Cousin, I'm ready to say Cousin Caden. Caden Guru, who you got in this game?
Tank Bowl. This is the game for first place in the NFL draft. Let me go New York though.
That's right. Okay, this is the toilet bowl. This is the actual toilet bowl. And this game here will be decided on who is the worst team in the NFL. And believe me, I am going to go with the New York Jets winning this game because guess what? Jacksonville has to keep tanking. They only got 2 more to go. Tank away for the number 1 pick, and we're trying to get Hutchinson from Michigan. Okay, the next pick is Tampa Bay. They're going to come back from that stinker that they had last week when they lost 9-0. I don't know how they lost 9-0 to New Orleans, but they are a 9.5-point favorite over the Carolina Panthers. I'm going to start this and say that Tom Brady, yes, Tom Brady will have a good game. And we just been informed that Josh Johnson will start for the Ravens in that game, and I still don't see him winning that game. Okay, I got Tampa Bay 9.5 points. They're beating Carolina. Kangaroo, who you got?
Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay. All right. Cousin Aaron, who you got? Is there a question of this?
Tampa Bay about 4 times that 9 points.
Okay. All right. Rolling along. Buffalo and New England. Guys knew what happened last time with Buffalo and New England. Buffalo is going into New England. I'm going to go with the upset, and I'm going to take Buffalo. I'm going with Buffalo. I got my faith in Buffalo. Cousin Aaron, who you got?
New England is back. They're back.
New England is back. Okay. King Guru, who you got?
I got New England. All right. Bill Belichick has beat the Patriots the Bills so many times that they named the team after him. All right.
Exactly.
So,
all right. Don't get me wrong. I do love Belichick. He's one of the greatest coaches of all. He is the greatest coach of all time. Okay. Los Angeles Rams, 3.5-point favorite over Minnesota. Who do you got, Cousin Aaron?
We're going to do a pickup, but can't do that. Minnesota at home.
You're going to take Minnesota at home. Okay. King Guru, who you got?
Let me go Minnesota.
All right, I'm going to go against you guys. I'm going to take the Rams and the 3.5 points. Okay, here's another stink bowl, which is the Philadelphia Eagles are going to demolish the New York Giants. They're up 10-point favorite. Caden Guru, I know that's your team. Who do you got?
This is an important game for the Eagles, for the 7th seed, so let me go Eagles.
Eagles. I'm taking Eagles. Cousin Aaron, who you got?
Philadelphia Eagles.
All right. Philadelphia Eagles should win that game, so I'm not worried about that. Okay. Los Angeles Chargers are going into Houston. Houston lucked up and beat Jacksonville last week in another toilet bowl game. The Chargers are 10.5-point favorite. Who do you got, Caden Guru?
Chargers.
Chargers. Cousin Aaron?
I got the LA Chargers.
LA Chargers. They should win, hopefully. Detroit, I got the Chargers as well. Detroit, they won last week, right?
Yep.
Yeah, they won last week. They're going to Atlanta, 7-point favorite. Atlanta, I think Detroit might be able to pull that one out. Who do you got, Cousin Aaron? Or Cousin Aaron, who you got?
I like Detroit also, to be honest with you.
All right. King Guru.
I can't bet against Detroit. Let me go Detroit.
You got Detroit. Okay, we all got Detroit. Atlanta's a 7-point favorite. Wow. Okay, Seattle is a 6.5-point favorite over Chicago. They're playing up in the Northwest. I like Seattle to win this game. I know that their season is probably done. Their playoff hopes are done. I think that still Russ can do something good. Chicago is terrible. They're another toilet team. All right, I got Seattle in this game. Who you got, Caden?
I got Chicago. I heard this is like the first losing season in like 10 years under Russell Wilson. So
yeah, and Pete Carroll. All right, who you got, cousin Aaron, in this game?
Let me try Seattle one time. Seattle.
All right. Raiders. My Raiders are playing at home against Denver. I like the Raiders 1.5 favorite over them. I'll take Denver. I'll take the Raiders. I'm not gonna take Denver. Are you crazy? I know Raiders are probably gonna end up losing this game, but I'll take the Raiders at home. Who you got, cousin Aaron?
Raiders.
All right, Caden Guru, who you got?
Denver. Justin Simmons is gonna have a pick, and Patrick Surtain's gonna have a pick.
Patrick Surtain. Oh yeah, that guy is dangerous. I know. All right, Kansas City is a 10-point favorite at home against Pittsburgh. This probably could end Pittsburgh's season. I'm going to go with Kansas City, but I think Pittsburgh might cover. Who do you like, Caden? Kansas City. Who you got, cousin Aaron?
Pittsburgh season is over with. Kansas City.
All right. I know this is a big game. Dallas and Washington. Always a big game. Cousin Aaron, I'm going to let you pick this one first. Dallas is a 10-point favorite. Who you got?
Washington football team is my team. However, I bet yesterday Dallas Cowboys will win, but not by 11 points. I'll pick Dallas to win it. I'll take the 11 points with Washington.
All right, I'll take Dallas to win, but I think that they won't cover. All right, Caden, who you got?
I got Dallas. I have Dallas.
Dallas, do you think they cover?
Yeah, but I want Dallas to win because Washington's probably not going to get back into that 7 spot in the playoffs.
Yeah, and that helps the Eagles, right?
Yep.
I knew it. I knew it. Okay. Miami, the last game on the docket is Miami is a 2.5-point favorite, and they are playing New Orleans. Miami, I'm going to go with Miami, 2.5-point favorites. Who do you got, Cousin Aaron?
I let that Florida team, Miami Dolphins.
Miami's looking good. They've won, seven straight?
Yeah.
Katie Guru, who you got?
Let me take New Orleans.
What?
Their defenses. They just came off of a shutout on Brady. Their defense is rolling. I need Alvin Kamara to have a big game, so let me go New Orleans.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Guys, that's it. We're done. The picks are done. And we're getting ready to wrap this thing. But I want to say that good job by both of you guys. I really appreciate it. You guys did a great job. And like I said, this is my... All right, guys. We're not at the end of the period yet. I still have a couple things I got to say. And I don't know why the horn keeps going off. It's letting us know that we're getting close to the end here. And we're right about the 90-minute mark. So we got to get this thing rolling, get it done. I want to give a shout out to the Davis family, my cousins who lost their brother, William Davis. I want to say that my cousin Billy was like a mentor and a big brother to me, and I'm really gonna miss him because the last thing that he told me was to it was a situation that I was dealing with, and I wanted to make sure that I fulfill his wish that he told me to do. And it hits me really hard when I actually have to talk about people that are in my life that make a difference. And I want you guys to know that my cousin Billy was a great dude, and I really love him, and I'm gonna miss him. I'm gonna try to get to pay my respects, but I want to make sure that I wanted you guys to know that death comes whenever, and it's not a fun thing. But you guys, I want you guys to know that my heart, my respects, and my everything. I wanted you guys to know that I really, it's kind of hard for me to talk about this because, like I said, I love my cousin Billy, and I want his family to know that I pay my respects, and my condolences, my deepest condolences goes out to him and his family, and may him rest with God and be safe. Thank you, Cousin Billy, for everything that you taught me. Thank you for your knowledge, your wisdom, and I want to make sure that, like I said, you'll always live in my heart because you'll never go away. The people in my life, when they do pass on, they never go away. They always have a special place in my heart, and I want his family to know, his wife, his kids. I want them to know that, we lost a great man, and I just want you guys to know that. All right, I'm gonna wrap up this program, this podcast, and I want to say that I thank Kate and Guru, and I thank you, Cousin Aaron, for being here today. All right, like I said, you guys know that you guys can follow me. I'm going to do particulars right now. You guys can follow me on social media. YouTube, The Guru of Sports Show on YouTube. Facebook, I'm at Guru's Daily Shorts. IG, just hit me up on the Instagram, Guru's OS39. That's mine. Caden, I don't know if you want to. You don't give out yours, do you? Caden doesn't give out his. He said no way. No way. He said no way in the hell that he's giving out his. All right. Gmail, like I said, Gmail me at gurusdailyshorts@gmail.com. All right. Twitter, I'm at Goat39 on Twitter. Goaty, he's at BlackGoat39 on Twitter. I don't know how many followers he got. He got maybe 2 or 3 or whatever. All right. Spreaker on any podcast outlet is the main podcast that we, main one that we come out of. And like I said, you can find us on Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, all that stuff. I want to give big props and shout outs to the following. The Mary Mac show on Grief. Miss Mary Mac, I really appreciate you. I appreciate your help and everything that you do to help me. I will definitely be there to help you as well. I really appreciate you. My man Jeff Duarte, Cali Sports News, he's going to be coming on pretty soon, and we're going to be talking some hockey. Maybe by the time we get back together and talk some hockey, maybe hockey will be being played. Okay. Also, I want to give a shout out to my hip-hop brothers. I really appreciate you guys. My baseball insider, Mr. Dave May Jr., I hope you guys had a great Christmas, and I did shout you out a little bit. And like I said, I'll continue to shout you out because you are my baseball insider, and you have been on this podcast more than anyone, and I really appreciate you. My crew, Caden Guru, appreciate you. Ray Guru, thank you for the music and the introductions and everything. Dante Guru is my backup co-host and the co-host, and my cousin Aaron is a co-host. Appreciate you. Cousin Aaron, I will talk to you in a couple of weeks because next week I'm going to be doing the year in review, and I'm going to do that one solo only because I got a lot of stuff to run out, and I got all the stuff that is written down for all the stuff that happened on this podcast this year, and I want to make sure I mention those. But I do want to say I will see you in a couple, and we'll talk about who got in the playoffs and who was going to go to the Super Bowl. Maybe we might have a clear-cut favorite. Maybe we won't, but we'll talk about that as well. Okay, my motto and saying is that this has been a Black Goat production for Black Goat Entertainment. Copyright 2021, all rights reserved. This has been copyrighted, so don't try to steal our format. Don't try to steal what we do because we are an original. And like I said, I have a creative mind that creates everything on the fly all the time. My motto is this: we don't steal we don't hate, we congratulate, we celebrate, and we don't steal from anyone. We give big props to people. And we always use the hashtag, the Guru Talking Sports Podcast. And we also give the Guru hashtag of big props to everybody. Okay, now before I leave, I got a few people I want to mention. I want to mention you guys on Twitter. Here's your Twitter handles, at SmileyYYC, at SchoolieDYA, my man Rick in Buffalo, for Canucks sakes, Sassy Wine Mama, my man Dixieland Dan, I want to appreciate you. My man Upside Down Mike, congratulations. I want to say congratulations to you. Alberta Girl 34, appreciate you, Lori. At Sweet Bourbon Kiss, and at 12s for Life, my friend Adriana, I really appreciate you. People on Facebook, I really appreciate you. And my friends, basically, I got to run this down and run it out right quick. Kate, I really appreciate you. Mel, I appreciate you. Denise Hyde, thank you, Miss Denise Hyde. My man Jeff Brown, I appreciate talking to you this week. My man John Genzel, congratulations on the retirement. Chris Kerwin, the best manager I ever had. My man Charlie Rogers, I really appreciate you. Jamie Dorsey, appreciate you. Daryl, you know that the EE is still looking for you. And he's going to kill me when he hears this because he heard this the other day and said that, hey, I'm gonna come on that podcast and I'm gonna rip you a new one, whatever. Okay, no, I'm just teasing. But anyway, appreciate you. We're glad that you guys enjoyed the podcast. Thank you. And like I said, if I didn't mention you this time, I'll give you a shout out. Next time. I want to say thank you guys again for sticking in with us, hanging out with us. I know it's a long time. It's over an hour and a half, but love you guys. We really appreciate you. The air horn should be coming on pretty soon, and this time it's going to be, I think this is the real one, the ending of it, right? All right, that means that is the end of the program. Goody, I want to ask you a question. Where is your silly self? Okay, Goody, I want to ask you this. Do we have any outro music this week? This decides if you get fired or not. Do we have any outro music? Huh? Do we have any outro music? All right, I guess we do. We're going to go with the same music that we came in on. All right, guys. You guys take care of yourself. The Guru will talk to you real soon. We will be back next week. All right, like I said, next week is the year in review. I will be talking to you guys. You guys have a good one. Be safe out there. Enjoy the rest of your football Sunday. And I know it's been long, but we got to get all this information into you. We love you. Take care. Have a great rest of your weekend. Guru, we'll see you real soon. Later, y'all.